guys. I'm going to try and make this quick. I got a cold I'm dealing with, so just want to try and get this over and out of the way, but this is how dedicated I am to getting content out to you. Venom stars Tom Hardy and is an adaptation of the character of Venom from the Spider-Man comic books. He acquires this parasite. He starts hearing voices in his head while this super secret shady organization led by Riz Ahmed is trying to use these alien symbiotes, or symbiotes if you're an idiot, for experimental testing on humans. Before it came out, the trailers really didn't sell me on the movie, but I still went in with an open mind, despite the negative reviews, despite the fact that the trailers for me weren't that great, and despite the fact that Tom Hardy said that 40 minutes of the movie were cut, and those were his favorite 40 minutes of the movie. That's never a good sign. And Venom, people will tell you that it's fun, and I went in hoping that it would be fun. Despite the negative reviews, people just agreed that, it wasn't a good movie, it was just a fun movie. It's so bad it's good. I really disagree with all those. Venom, for me, it didn't do it. I'd rather watch Venom in Spider-Man 3. I think Venom is better represented in this movie. I think the characterization of Venom is a lot better in this movie than it is in Spider-Man 3. If I want to watch a live-action movie set in the Spidey Universe that has Venom in it, I'm going to watch Spider-Man 3 over this. Spider-Man 3 is a far superior movie, despite what anybody will tell you. Spider-Man 3 is a lot better than this movie. First of all, what I really liked Tom Hardy. I thought he gave a really good performance. He's a huge fan of Venom, so he really committed to this role, and I give him props to that. Also, the character of Venom. Venom, this is what people wanted to see from Venom. They wanted the crazy tongue, they wanted him licking people, they wanted him biting people's heads off. You got that. You got Venom talking to Eddie in his mind. You got all that. And that's actually a really interesting dynamic that this movie explores, and I think that they do that relationship between Eddie Brock and the Venom symbiote very well. Everything else just falls flat. The supporting cast phones it in. Michelle Williams, Riz Ahmed, Jenny Slate, they all phone it in. Michelle Williams and Tom Hardy have no chemistry here whatsoever. And Riz Ahmed is the villain, and he's a really terrible villain. Like, he's just like, oh, corporate baddie doing corporate baddie things. This is a by-the-numbers plot. It's an excruciatingly thin story on that. And that really hinders this movie. It could have been something really original, but it's something you've seen done a million times before, and you really just don't care after a while. The CGI effects, seriously, the CGI in this movie. Look at this movie compared to every other big blockbuster superhero movie we're getting. This movie honestly feels like it should have been released like when Blade came out, like 1998 or something. That's what this movie feels like. It's just it feels like a big budget disaster with terrible special effects. Like, the CGI is so obvious in this movie. It just feels like it's half-assed. That's what it feels like. Spider-Man 3 was made 11 years ago. Holy shit, I am old. That was 11 years ago. Wow. Special effects in that movie are a lot better in this movie. The special effects in Spider-Man 2. My whole point being is, it's like, why do we, you don't even, I can confirm this, they don't connect it to Spider-Man, and they don't connect it to the MCU, so it's like, what on earth is the point of creating a Spider-Man cinematic universe if you're not gonna have Spider-Man? Like, I get it, Venom can stand on his own in a movie. This is Sony's next attempt to grab your cash, because they're like, you know what? We wanted to do the Sinister Six movie. Nobody wanted that to happen because nobody liked the two Amazing Spider-Man movies. Good, thank God they stopped those. So it's like, well, we can't do a third one. We can't do Sinister Six, so, we still get the rights to Venom. Let's just do Venom, and then let's do Morbius without Spider-Man. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's like doing a Joker movie without Batman, which is what the new Joker movie's gonna be like. I feel like you need to have Batman in that movie, just like how you need Spider-Man in a Spider-Man cinematic universe. The movie really lacks originality. You know who the villain is, you know what's gonna happen at the end, you know he's gonna turn into a giant CGI monster, and the two, Venom and Riot, are gonna have a big CGI fight with CG and explosions, going everywhere, and that's exactly what happens. It becomes predictable. The first half of this movie is also really slow, really boring, wasn't catching my attention at all, and the mistake that they made, setting this movie in San Francisco rather than New York, it baffled me. I'm like, why not just have Eddie Brock work at the Daily Bugle? Bring J. Jonah Jameson back, have him played by J.K. Simmons, that would be awesome! Connected to that universe. Oh, we gotta go for San Francisco, and Eddie Brock works for some discount Daily Bugle. I don't get it. Like, why don't you just go to New York? The story's supposed to be set in New York. No Venom scene will ever be as iconic from that scene in the comics and in Spider-Man 3, where Spider-Man just rips off the symbiote and it latches onto Eddie Brock and he turns into Venom. There's nothing memorable in this movie that is like that. At least in Spider-Man 3, you have that awesome scene. You don't have anything like that in this movie. The people are going to say that this movie is just kind of B-movie fun. I didn't really see it as that. I saw it as like a poor excuse to grab your cash. That's what this movie was. I wanted to go in with the mindset after I heard the negative reviews, but people were like, it's bad but in a good way because there's fun. I walked in expecting something so bad it's good, and I walked out unsatisfied because I felt that this movie was so bad that it's bad. I mean, it's not Fan Four Stick bad. It's not Batman and Robin bad. But, I mean, I just have no desire to ever watch this movie again. It's got poor CGI, poor special effects, people phone in their performances. Story's really thin. I don't like the setting of this movie. It's just not a very memorable movie. It's poorly paced. It's boring. Venom shows up exactly halfway through, and I'm like, at this point, I don't really care. I do like the relationship between Eddie Brock and the Venom symbiote. I like Eddie Brock as a character, and I like Tom Hardy's performance. And I have to add that there is some humor in here that worked. One scene involving Venom telling Eddie Brock to use a window, and then the next scene he doesn't. There's a nice little line thrown in there. There's some elements of humor sprinkled throughout that work. Most of the humor does not work, or it just comes across as unintentionally funny in some parts. And honestly, this movie would have benefited from that R rating. Honestly should have, because when he's biting heads off people, it shows him, either shows it off screen or it shows the impact, but when he pulls the body away, like, it doesn't show anything. There's no blood in this movie. They should have went for that R rating, especially when comic book movies like Logan and Deadpool have proven that comic book movies can succeed with that R rating. I'm going to give Venom a D. Guys, that's my review of Venom. I still have my review of A Star Is Born coming. Just got really busy. Haven't been able to finish editing it, but it's coming. Thank you for watching. I will leave my link to my website in the description below. There you can find all my links to my social media accounts. Don't forget to head over to TeePublic, to the Cinemania World Podcast store. There you can buy t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, laptop cases, phone cases, whatever you want with the Cinemania logo, the different Cinemania logos. We have a promotion going on this month, 30% off for the month of Halloween if you get the Killerathon logo. So definitely head over to TeePublic, search Cinemania, check that stuff out. Again, you get 30% off for the entire month. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Alex Madden. I'm signing off.